On the scale of 1 to 10, how bigger of a threat is self-medication?
I would rate it as 7 out of 10.
What can be effects caused by self-medication?
Well, there are a lot of effects that can be caused for it, because not all people actually who self-medicate, they don't realize the doses that are to be taken, so they might take more than the required dose or less. So in case of like antibiotics, for example, it can lead to resistance, or in case of other, like in case of NSAIDs, they can lead to ulcerations and stomach problems and a variety of other effects.
In your opinion, how can self-medication be stopped?
Well, I believe that proper awareness and access to the health staff, to doctors, to hospitals, and the elevation of poverty as well.
What are the lackings of our health system that cause self-medication?
Well, in our system, the ratio of the health personnel to the patients is quite low. You know, there are not enough doctors to cater for the ever-increasing population, not enough hospitals, and then there is poverty and the fact that the healthcare in the private hospitals is quite expensive, while in case of the government hospitals, there's a lot of waiting time, there is a lot of public who wants to get checked, and so people actually avoid the long queues, and in general there is the lack of awareness.
Why don't people consult doctors for medicine even if they are affording, or it is free like in Nishtal?
Well, that just comes to the lack of awareness. People think that just because one of their friends or someone in the family had a similar symptoms and a doctor gave them a medicine, and they think that they have the similar symptoms and they could take that medicine as well. They don't realize that there are a lot of other factors that are involved as well. For example, the comorbidities like diabetes, hypertension and other stuff. And with the access to internet, the people think that they can actually self-diagnose. They are confident that they don't need to go to the doctor. They don't really like to wait, and they won't like to go see the doctor. They think that it's a waste of time. So basically it comes down to the lack of awareness, lack of education.
Can self-medication be done like sometimes if the symptoms are like they know in family?
There are two types of medicines actually, two types of drugs. There are one of them is it belongs to a class that only a doctor can prescribe, and there are some of the drugs that are in common use. They are called over-the-counter drugs. So they can be taken even without doctor's prescription for like minor headache and stuff like that. But really it comes down to you should consult a doctor in the end. I believe that even if the symptoms are mild, you should consult the doctor.
In your opinion, lack of awareness is to be blamed for self-medication? Only lack of awareness, or?
Lack of awareness, yes, but there are, as I said, a lot of other problems that also depends on the place which you're talking about, the area. Like poverty is a very big problem, and in places where the government hospitals are not available, where free healthcare is not available, and you have to go to a private practitioner to get the medication. So in that case, people majority of the time just can't afford to go to a doctor. So there are other reasons as well.
In your opinion, can self-medication problem can be solved according to keeping the resources of the country in mind?
In the current scenario, I believe that obviously it cannot be eradicated altogether, but significant advancement can be made significant progress can be made in this regard with, as you said earlier, that even the people who can afford healthcare, they self-medicate as well. So if with lack of awareness, if we can spread awareness actually, if we can educate the people, so it won't cost us that much. But obviously in the long term, if you want to eradicate it completely, you will have to elevate poverty, and you would have to give the people better access to healthcare facilities, to inexpensive, to cheaper healthcare facilities as well.
What can common people do to eradicate this problem?
Well, it just comes down to the fact that they have to realize that if a doctor actually studies for years, a lot of years, and he has a degree, and he goes through a rigorous programs, gets a degree, exams and stuff, and then he becomes a doctor. You cannot become a doctor, you cannot diagnose a disease just overnight by reading it on the internet or hearing it from friends or family. So people have to realize that, and people have to actually stop encouraging other people in their family or in their friends to self-medicate. It is always good to consult a doctor, and I believe it is safe, and people should realize that life is not cheap. You have to take care of it, and in the long run it will help you if you consult doctors, and it can harm you quite badly if you don't.
Thank you.